Hiya, family. Tonight I am going to be reading from the King James Version because, yes, we know that He knows our hearts, but do we know His? And we're in Ezekiel, and I'm going to start on chapter 25. And just give me a minute while I share this to our group. And just give me a minute. Thank you, family, for everyone that's coming here. I love reading the Word, as you guys know, and I just thank you all. And let me just share it to our family, and just give me a second. Okay, and see here. For everybody watching on replay, sorry. I don't know how to share this while I'm still live. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do that yet. I'll have to ask young man. Okay, I just shared it in our group. Again, my name is Donna. Some of you may know me as the lady who says, "Young man." Yeah, that's me. And again, we know that, yes, He definitely knows our heart, but do we know His? So we're in Ezekiel, and I'm going to start on chapter 25. And thank you, family. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against the Ammonites, and prophesy against them. And say unto the Ammonites, Hear the word of Yahuwah, HalleluYah. Thus saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah, because thou sayest, Aha, against my sanctuary, when it was profaned, and against the land of Yesharel, when it was desolate, and against the house of Judah, when they went into captivity. Behold, therefore I will deliver thee to the men of the east for a possession, and they shall set their palaces in thee, and make their dwellings in thee. They shall eat thy fruit, and they shall drink thy milk. I'm on Ezekiel chapter 25, family, verse 5. And I will make Rabbah a stable for camels, and the Ammonites a couching place for flocks. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. For thus saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah, because thou hast clapped thine hands, and stamped with the feet, and rejoiced in heart with all thy despite against the land of Yesharel. Behold, therefore I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen, and I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah, because that Moab and Seir do say, Behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from his cities which are on his frontiers, the glory of the country, Beth Jeshimoth, Bel Meon, and Kirithaim, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. And I will execute judgment upon Moab, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah. Because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Eden by the hand of my people Yasharel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahuwah Eluah. Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge, and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, behold, I will stretch out mine hand upon the Philistines, and I will cut off the cherethims, and destroy the remnant of the sea coast. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with the furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. Chapter 26. Shalom, family. And it came to pass, in the 11th year, in the first day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came upon me, saying, Son of man, because that Tyrus hath said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken. That was the gates of the people. She is turned unto me. I shall be replenished. Now she is laid waste. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causeth his waves to come up. And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus, and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her, and make her like the top of a rock. It shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea, for I have spoken it, saith Yahuwah Eluah, and it shall become a spoil to the nations, and her daughters, which are in the field, shall be slain by the sword, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. For thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of kings, from the north, with horses and with chariots, and with horsemen and companies and much people. He shall slay with the sword thy daughters in the field, and he shall make a fort against thee, and cast a mount against thee, and lift up the buckler against thee. And he shall set engines of war against thy walls, and with his axes he shall break down thy towers. By reason of the abundance of his horses, their dust shall cover thee. Thy walls shall shake at the noise of the horsemen, and of the wheels, and of the chariots, when he shall enter into thy gates, as men enter into a city wherein is made a breach. With the hoofs of his horses shall he tread down all thy streets. He shall slay thy people by thy sword, and thy strong garrison shall go down to the ground. And they shall make a spoil of thy riches, and make a prey of thy merchandise. And they shall break down thy walls, and destroy thy pleasant houses. And they shall lay thy stones, and thy timber, and thy dust in the midst of the water. And I will cause the noise of thy songs to cease, and the sound of thy harps shall be no more heard. And I will make thee like the top of a rock. Thou shalt be a place to spread nets upon. Thou shalt be built no more. For I, Yahuwah, have spoken it, saith Yahuwah Eluah. Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah to Tyrus, shall not the isles shake at the sound of thy fall? When the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of thee. Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, and lay away their robes, and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground, and shall tremble at every moment, and be astonished at thee. And they shall take up a lamentation for thee, and say to thee, How art thou destroyed, that wast inhabited of seafaring men? the renowned city which was strong in the sea, she and her inhabitants, which caused their terror to be on all that haunt it. Now shall the isles tremble in the day of thy fall. Yea, the isles that are in the sea shall be troubled at thy departure. For thus saith HalleluYah, when I shall make thee a desolate city, like the cities that are not inhabited, when I shall bring up the deep upon thee, and great waters shall cover thee. When I shall bring thee down with them that descend into the pit, with the people of old time, and shall set thee in the low parts of the earth, in places desolate of old, with them that go down to the pit, that thou be not inhabited, and I shall set glory in the land of the living. I will make thee a terror, and thou shalt be no more. Though thou be sought for, yet shalt thou never be found again, saith HalleluYah. Chapter 27. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Now, thou son of man, take up a lamentations for Tyrus. And say unto Tyrus, O thou that art situate at the entry of the sea, which art a merchant of the people for many isles, thus saith HalleluYah, O Tyrus, thou hast said, I am of perfect beauty. Thy borders are in the midst of the seas. Thy builders have perfected thy beauty. They have made all the shipboards of fir trees of cedar. They have taken cedars from Lebanon to make mast for thee. Of the oaks of Bashan have they made thine oars, and the company of the Asherites have made thy benches of ivory, brought out of the isles of Chittim. Fine linen with broidered work from Egypt was that which thou spreadest forth to be thy sail. Blue and purple from the isle of Elisha was that which covered thee. The inhabitants of Zidon and Arvad were thy mariners, thy wise men, O Tyrus, that were in thee, were thy pilots. The ancients of Gebal and the wise men, therefore, were in thee thy caulkers, and the ships of the sea with their mariners were in three to occupy thy merchandise. They of Persia and of Lud and of Phut were in thine army, the men of war. They hanged the shield and helmet in thee. They set forth thy comeliness. The men of Arvad with thine army were upon the walls around about, and the Gammadims were in thy towers. They hanged their shields upon thy walls round about. They have made thy beauty perfect. Tarshish was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of all kind of riches. With silver, iron, tin, and lead they traded in thy fairs. Javan, Tubal, and Meshech, they were thy merchants. They traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in thy market. They of the house of Togarmah traded in thy fairs with horses and horsemen and mules. The men of Dedan were thy merchants. Many isles were the merchandise of thine hand. They brought thee for a present horns of ivory and ebony. Syria was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of the wares of thy making. They occupied in thy fairs with emeralds, purple, embroidered work, and fine linen, and coral, and agate. Shalom, family. Judah and the land of Yasharel, they were thy merchants. They traded in thy market wheat of Minnith and Peneg, and honey, and oil, and balm. Damascus was thy merchant in the multitude of the wares of thy making, for the multitude of all riches in the wine of Helbon and white wool. Dan also and Javan going to and fro, occupied in thy fairs. Bright iron, cassia, and calmus were in thy market. Dedan was the merchant in precious clothes for chariots. Arabia and all the princes of Kedar, they occupied with thee in lambs and rams and goats. In these were they thy merchants. The merchants of Sheba and Ramah, they were thy merchants. They occupied in thy fairs with chief of all spices and with all precious stones and gold. Haran and Kenna and Eden and merchants of Sheba, Ashur and Chilmad were thy merchants. These were the merchants in all sorts of things, in blue clothes, embroidered work, and in chests of rich apparel, bound with cords and made of cedar among thy merchandise. The ships of Tarshish did sing of thee in thy market, and thou wast replenished, and made very glorious in the midst of the seas. Thy rowers have brought thee into great waters. The east wind hath broken thee in the midst of the seas. Thy riches and thy fairs, thy merchandise, thy mariners and thy pilots, thy caulkers and the occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee and in thy company, which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into the midst of the seas in the day of the ruin. The suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots, and all that handle the oar, the mariner, and all the pilots of the sea shall come down from their ships. They shall stand upon the land. Shalom, family. And shall cause their voices to be heard against thee, and shall cry bitterly, and shall cast up dust upon their heads. They shall wallow themselves in the ashes, and they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for thee with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing. And in their wailing they shall take up lamentations for thee, and lament over thee, saying, What city is like Tyrus, like the destroyed in the midst of the sea? When thy wares went forth out of the seas, thou fillest many people. Thou didst enrich the kings of the earth with the multitude of thy riches and of thy merchandise. In the time when thou shalt be broken by the seas in the depths of the waters, thy merchandise and thy company in the midst of thee shall fall. All the inhabitants of the isles shall be astonished at thee, and their kings shall be sore afraid. They shall be troubled in their countenance. The merchants among the people shall hiss at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt be any more. Chapter 28. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am HalleluYah. I sit in the seat of HalleluYah, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not HalleluYah. Thou, though, set thine heart as the heart of HalleluYah. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By the great wisdom and by the traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of HalleluYah, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. And they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die, the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am HalleluYah? But thou shalt be a man, and no God, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Moreover, the word of the Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, Thou sealest up the sum fully of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Edom, the garden of HalleluYah. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, and beryl, the onyx, and jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and the gold. The workmanship of the tabrets and of thy pipes were prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of HalleluYah. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have fulfilled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of HalleluYah, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, and they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Again, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Zidon, and prophesy against it, and say, Thus say Yahuwah HalleluYah, Behold, I am against thee, O Zidon, and I will be glorified in the midst of thee, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall have executed judgments in her, and shall be sanctified in her. For I will send into her pestilence and blood into her streets, and the wounded shall be judged in the midst of her by the sword upon her on every side, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. And there shall be no more a pricking briar unto the house of Yasharel, nor any grieving thorn of all that are round about them, that despise them, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah HalleluYah. Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, When I shall have gathered the house of Yasharel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob. And they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses, and plant vineyards. Yea, they shall dwell with confidence. When I have executed judgments upon all those that despise them round about them, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, their HalleluYah. Chapter 29. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, in the 12th day of the month, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak and say, Thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of his rivers, which hath said, My river is mine own, and I have made it for myself. But I will put hooks in thy jaws, and I will cause the fish of thy rivers to stick upon thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of the rivers, out of the midst of thy rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick unto thy scales. And I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness. And I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. Thou hast fall upon the open fields. Thou shalt not be brought together, nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beasts of the Shalom family of the field, and to the fowls of the heaven. And all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am Yahuwah, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Yasharel. When they took hold of thee by thy hand, thou didst break and rend all their shoulder. And when they leaned upon thee, thou breakest and madest all their loins to be at a stand. Therefore, thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I will bring a sword upon thee, and cut off man and beast out of thee. And the land of Egypt shall be desolate and waste, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, because he has said, The river is mine, I have made it. Behold, therefore I am against thee and against thy rivers, and I will make the land of Egypt utterly waste and desolate, from the tower of Syene even unto the border of Ethiopia. No foot of man shall pass through it, nor foot of beast shall pass through it, neither shall it be inhabited 40 years. And I will make the land of Egypt desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities among the cities that are laid waste shall be desolate 40 years. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and will disperse them through the countries. Yet thus saith HalleluYah, at the end of 40 years will I gather the Egyptians from the people whither they were scattered, and I will bring again the captivity of Egypt, and will cause them to return into the land of Pathros, into the land of their habitation, and they shall be there a base kingdom. It shall be the basest of the kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nations, for I will diminish them, that they shall no more rule over the nations. And it shall be no more the confidence of the house of Yasharel, which bringeth their iniquity to remembrance, when they shall look after them, but they shall know that I am HalleluYah. And it came to pass in the 27th year, in the 1st month, in the 1st day of the month, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, caused his army to serve a great service against Tyrus. Every head was made bald, and every shoulder was peeled. Yet had he no wages, nor his army, for Tyrus, for the service that he had served against it. Therefore, thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I will give the land of Egypt up unto Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall take her multitude, and take her spoil, and take her prey, and it shall be the wages for his army. I have given him the land of Egypt for his labor wherewith he served against it, because they wrought for me, saith HalleluYah. In that day will I cause the horn of the house of Yesharel to bud forth, and I will give thee the opening of the mouth in the midst of them, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Chapter 30. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith HalleluYah, Hail ye, woe worth the day, for the day is near, even the day of Yahuwah is near, a cloudy day. It shall be the time of the heathen. And the sword shall come upon Egypt, and great pain shall be in Ethiopia, when the slain shall fall in Egypt, and they shall take away her multitude, and her foundations shall be broken down. Ethiopia and Libya and Lydia, and all the mingled people, and Chap, and the men of the land that is in league, shall fall with them by the sword. Thus saith Yahuwah, they also that uphold Egypt shall fall, and the pride of her powers shall come down. From the tower of Syene shall they fall in it by the sword, saith HalleluYah. And they shall be desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities shall be in the midst of the cities that are wasted. And they shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I have set a fire in Egypt, and when all her helpers shall be destroyed. In that day shall messengers go forth from me in ships to make the careless Ethiopians afraid, and great pain shall come upon them, as in the day of Egypt, for lo, it cometh. Thus saith HalleluYah, I will also make the multitude of Egypt to cease by the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He and his people with him, the terrible of the nations, shall be brought to destroy the land, and they shall draw their sword against Egypt, and fill the land with the slain. And I will make the rivers dry, and sell the land into the hand of the wicked, and I will make the land waste, and all that is therein, by the hand of strangers. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it. Thus saith HalleluYah, I will also destroy the idols, and I will cause their images to cease out of Noph. And there shall be no more a prince of the land of Egypt, and I will put a fear in the land of Egypt, and I will make Pathros desolate, and I will set fire in Zoan, and will execute judgment in No. And I will pour my fury upon Sin, the strength of Egypt, and I will cut off the multitude of No. And I will set fire in Egypt. Sin shall have great pain, and No shall be rent asunder, and Noph shall have distresses daily. The young men of Avon and Pi Beseth shall fall by the sword, and these cities shall go into captivity. At Tehaphnes also the day shall be darkened, when I shall break there the yoke of Egypt, and the pomp of her strength shall cease in her. As for her, a cloud shall cover her, and her daughters shall go into captivity. Thus will I execute judgment in Egypt, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 1st month, in the 7th day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and lo, it shall not be bound up to be healed, to put a roller to bind it, to make it strong to hold the sword. Therefore, thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I am against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and will break his arm, the strong, and that which was broken, and I will cause the sword to fall out of his hand. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and will disperse them throughout the countries. And I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hand. But I will break Pharaoh's arms, and he shall groan before him with the groanings of a deadly wounded man. But I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and the arms of Pharaoh shall fall down, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall put my sword into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall stretch it out upon the land of Egypt. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and disperse them among the countries, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Chapter 31. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, in the 5th day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness? Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, with the fair branches, and with a shadowing shroud, and high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs. The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high, with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nest in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under the shadow dwelt all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of HalleluYah could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of HalleluYah was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of HalleluYah and viewed it. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he hath shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness. And strangers, the terrible of the nations, have cut him off, and have left him upon the mountains and in the valleys. His branches are fallen, and his boughs are broken by all the rivers of the land, and all the people of the earth are gone down from his shadow, and have left him. Upon his ruin shall all the fowls of the heaven remain, and all the beasts of the field shall be upon his branches, to the end that none of all the trees by the waters exalt themselves for their height, neither should shoot up their top among the thick boughs, neither their trees stand up in their height. All that drink water, for they are all delivered unto death, to the nether part of the earth, in the midst of the children of men, with them that go down in the pit. Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, in the day when he went down to the grave, I caused a mourning. I covered the deep for him, and I restrained the floods thereof, and the great waters were stayed, and I caused Lebanon to mourn for him, and for all the trees of the field fainted for him. I made the nations to shake at the sound of his fall, when I cast him down to hell with them that descend into the pit. And all the trees of Eden, the choice and best of Lebanon, all that drink water, shall be comforted in nether parts of the earth. They all went down into hell with him unto them that be slain with the sword, and they that were his arm, that dwelt under his shadow in the midst of the heathen. To whom art thou thus like in glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden? Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether parts? Nether parts of the earth, thou shalt lie in the midst of the earth uncircumcised, with them that be slain by the sword. This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Chapter 32. And it came to pass in the 12th year, in the 12th month, in the first day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like a young lion of the nations, and thou art as a whale in the seas, and thou camest forth with thy rivers, and troublest the waters with thy feet, and foldest thou their rivers, foulest their rivers. Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with a company of many people, and they shall bring thee up in my net. Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee, and I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, even in the mountains, and the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heavens, and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. I will also vex the hearts of many people, when I shall bring thy destruction among the nations, into the countries which thou hast not known. Yea, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their kings shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life, in the day of thy fall. For thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, the sword come upon thee. By the sword of the mighty will I cause thy multitude to fall, the terrible of the nations, all of them, and they shall spoil the pomp of Egypt, and all the multitude thereof shall be destroyed. I will destroy also all the beasts thereof from beside the great waters. Neither shall the foot of man trouble them any more, nor the hoofs of beasts trouble them. Then I will make their waters deep, and cause their rivers to run like oil, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. When I shall make the land of Egypt desolate, and the country shall be destitute of that whereof it was full, when I shall smite all them that dwell therein, then shall they know that I am Yahuwah. This is the lamentation wherewith they shall lament her. The daughters of the nations shall lament her. They shall lament for her, even for Egypt, and for all her multitude, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. It came to pass also in the 12th year, in the 15th day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, wail for the multitude of Egypt, and cast them down, even her and the daughters of the famous nations, unto the nether parts of the earth, with them that go down into the pit. Whom dost thou pass in beauty? Go down, and be thou laid with the uncircumcised. They shall fall in the midst of them that are slain by the sword. She is delivered to the sword. Draw her and all her multitudes. The strong among the mighty shall speak to him out of the midst of hell with them that help him. They are gone down. They lie uncircumcised, slain by the sword. Asher is there, and all her company. His graves are about him, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, whose graves are set in the sides of the pit, and her company is round about her grave. All of them slain, fallen by the sword, which caused terror in the land of the living. There is Elam, and all her multitude round about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which are gone down uncircumcised into the nether parts of the earth, which caused their city terror in the land of the living. Yet have they borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. They shall set her a bed in the midst of the slain, with all her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, though their terror was caused in the land of the living. Yet have they borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. He is put in the midst of them that be slain. There is Meshech, Tubal, and all her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, though they caused their terror in the land of the living. And they shall not lie with the mighty that are fallen of the uncircumcised, which are gone down to hell with their weapons of war. And they have laid their swords under their heads, but their iniquities shall be upon their bones, though they were the terror of the mighty in the land of the living. Yea, thou shalt be broken in the midst of the uncircumcised, and shalt lie with them that are slain with the sword. There is Edom, her kings, and all her princes, which with their might are laid by them. By them that were slain by the sword. They shall lie with the uncircumcised, and with them that go down to the pit. There be the princes of the north, all of them, and all the Zidonians, which are gone down with the slain. With their terror they are ashamed of their might, and they lie uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword, and bear their shame with them that go down to the pit. Pharaoh shall see them, and shall be comforted over all his multitude, even Pharaoh and all his army slain by the sword, saith HalleluYah. For I have caused my terror in the land of the living, and he shall be laid in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that are slain with the sword, even Pharaoh and all his multitude, saith HalleluYah. Chapter 33. Again, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast, and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet, and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet, and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Yesharel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way, and to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Therefore, O thou son of man, speak unto thy house of Yesharel. Thus ye speak, saying, if our transgressions and our sins be upon us, and we pine away in them, how shall we then live? Say unto them, as I live, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from their way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways. For why will ye die, O house of Yesharel? Therefore, thou son of man, say unto the children of thy people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness. Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinneth. When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trust to his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered, but for his iniquity that he hath committed, he shall die for it. Again, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life, without committing iniquity, he shall surely live, he shall not die. None of his sins that he hath committed shall be mentioned unto him. He hath done that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live. Yet the children of thy people say, the way of Yahuwah is not equal, but as for them, their way is not equal. When the righteous turneth from his righteousness and committeth iniquity, he shall even die thereby. But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful and right, he shall live thereby. Yet ye say, the way of Yahuwah is not equal, O ye house of Yesharel. I will judge you every one after his ways. And it came to pass in the 12th year of our captivity, in the 10th month, in the 5th day of the month, that the one had escaped out of Jerusalem came unto me, saying, the city is smitten. Now the hand of Yahuwah was upon me in the evening, afore he that was escaped came, and had opened my mouth until he came to me in the morning, and my mouth was opened, and I was no more dumb. Then the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, they that inhabit those wastes of the land of Yesharel speak, saying, Abraham was one, and he inherited the land, but we are many. The land is given for us for inheritance. Wherefore say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, Ye ate with the blood, and lift up your eyes towards your idols, and shed blood, and shall ye possess the land? Ye stand upon your sword, ye work abomination, and ye defile every one his neighbor's wife, and shall ye possess the land? Say thou thus unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, As I live, surely they that are in the waste shall fall by the sword, and him that is in the open field will I give to the beasts to be devoured, and they that be in the forts and in the caves shall die of the pestilence. For I will lay the land most desolate, and the pomp of her strength shall cease, and the mountains of Yesharel shall be desolate, that none shall pass through. Then shall they know that I am Yahuwah, when I have laid the land most desolate because of all their abominations which they have committed. Also, thou Son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from Yahuwah. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they shew much love, but their hearts goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Chapter 34. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherd of Yesharel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Yesharel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe you with the wool. Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. The diseased have ye not strengthened, neither have ye healed that which was sick, neither have ye bound up that which was broken, neither have ye brought again that which was driven away, neither have ye sought that which was lost, but with force and with cruelty have ye ruled them. And they were scattered, because there is no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. My sheep wandered through all the mountains and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. Therefore, ye shepherds, hear the words of Yahuwah. As I live, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherd fed themselves, and fed not my flock. Therefore, O ye shepherds, hear the words of Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, Behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves any more. For I will devour my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. For thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, Behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep, and seek them out. As a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people, and gather them from the countries, and will bring them to their own land, and feed them upon the mountains of Yesharel, by the rivers, and in all the inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Yesharel shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Yesharel. I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, saith HalleluYah. I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away, and will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat of the strong. I will feed them with judgment. And as for you, O my flock, thus saith HalleluYah, behold, I judge between cattle and cattle, between the rams and the goats. Seemeth it a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture, but ye must tread down with your feet the residue of your pastures, and to have drunk of the deep waters, but ye must foul the residue with your feet. And as for my flock, they eat that which ye have trodden with your feet, and they drink that which ye have fouled with your feet. Therefore, thus saith HalleluYah unto them, behold, I, even I, will judge between the fat cattle and between the lean cattle, because ye have thrust with side and with shoulder, and pushed all the diseased with your horns, till ye have scattered them around. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David, he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, Yahuwah, will be their Eluah, and my servant David a prince among them. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it, and I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing, and I will cause the shower to come down in his season. There shall be showers of blessing, and the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am Yahuwah. When I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivereth them out of the hands of those that serve themselves of them, and they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. And I will raise up for them a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen any more. Thus shall they know that I, Yahuwah, their Eluah, am with them, and that they, even the house of Yasharel, are my people, saith Yahuwah Eluah. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your Eluah, saith Yahuwah Eluah. HalleluYah. Chapter 35. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee more desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahuwah. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Yasharel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahuwah Eluah, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir more desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills, and in the valleys, and in thy rivers, shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahuwah was there. Therefore, as I live, saith HalleluYah, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am Yahuwah, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Yesharel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith HalleluYah, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Yesharel. Because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Edomia, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Chapter 36. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Yesharel, and say, ye mountains of Yesharel, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus saith HalleluYah, because the enemy hath said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith HalleluYah, because they have made you desolate, and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of thy people. Therefore, ye mountains of Yesharel, hear the word of HalleluYah. Thus saith HalleluYah to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith HalleluYah, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Edomia, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, and with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Yesharel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith HalleluYah, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith HalleluYah, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. But yea, O mountain of Yesharel, ye shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Yesharel, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. And I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Yesharel, even all of it, and the cities shall be inhabited, and the ways shall be builded. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruits, and I will settle you after your old estates, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. Yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Yasharel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men. Thus saith Yahuwah of HalleluYah, because they say unto you, Thou, land, devourest up men, and hast bereaved thy nations, therefore thou shalt devour men no more, neither bereave thy nations any more, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Neither will I cause men to hear in thee the shame of the heathen any more, neither shalt thou bear the reproach of the people any more, neither shalt thou cause thy nations to fall any more, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Yasharel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood of that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they have polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way and according to their doings I judged them. And when they entered unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name, my Baruch name, when they said to them, These are the people of Yahuwah, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for mine Baruch name, which the house of Yasharel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. Therefore say unto the house of Yasharel, Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, I do not this for your sake, O house of Yasharel, but for mine Baruch name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your HalleluYah. I will also save you from all your uncleanness, and I will call for the corn, and you will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree, and the increase of the field, that ye shall receive no more reproach of famine among the heathen. Then shall ye remember your own evil ways, and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourself in your own sight for your iniquities, and for your abominations. Not for your sake do I this, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Yasharel. Thus saith Yahuwah HalleluYah, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the way shall be builded, and the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. And they shall say, This land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and the desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about, you shall know that I, Yahuwah, build the ruined places, and plant that was desolate. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it, and I will do it. Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, I will yet for this being inquired of by the house of Yasharel, to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock, as the Baruch flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feasts. So shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Chapter 37. The hand of Yahuwah was upon me, and carried me out of the spirit of Yahuwah, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by. It caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahuwah, Eluah, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they might live. Sorry. O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Yasharel. Behold, they say, Our bones are dried, our hope is lost, we are cut off from our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Yasharel. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, the Yahuwah, have spoken it, and performed it, saith Yahuwah. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick, and write upon it, for Judah and for the children of Yasharel, his companions. Then take another stick, and write upon it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Yasharel, his companions, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not shew us with what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribe of Yasharel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, Thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I will take the children of Yasharel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Yasharel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their HalleluYah. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their HalleluYah, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahuwah, do sanctify Yasharel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Chapter 38. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. With them, all of them, with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Yasharel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith HalleluYah, It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey? To carry away silver and gold? To take away cattle and goods? To take a great spoil? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus saith HalleluYah, in that day when my people of Yasharel dwell safely, shalt thou not know it, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Yasharel, as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus saith HalleluYah, Art thou he of whom I have spoken in time of my servants, that the prophets of Yasharel, which prophesied in those days many years, that I would bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time, when Gog shall come against the land of Yasharel, saith HalleluYah, that my fury shall come up in my face, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Yasharel, so that the flat fishes of the sea, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the field, and all creeping things that creep upon the earth, and all the men that are upon the face of the earth, shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith HalleluYah. Every man's sword shall be against his brother, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him, and upon his bands, and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain, and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself, and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, that they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Chapter 39. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith HalleluYah, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts. And will bring thee upon the mountains of Yasharel, and I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Yasharel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. Thou shalt fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, saith HalleluYah. And I will send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people of Yasharel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name, my Baruch name, any more. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, the Holy One in Yasharel. Behold, It is come, and it is done, saith HalleluYah. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Yasharel shall go forth, and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both of the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fires 7 years, so that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil Should I stop at 39, or should I keep going? Because we only have 7 more chapters, I think. And they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, saith HalleluYah. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there of graves in Yasharel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea. And it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon-Gog. And 7 months shall the house of Yasharel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown that the day that I shall be glorified, saith HalleluYah. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the faces of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. And the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bones, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon-Gog. And also the name of the city shall be Hamona. Thus shall they cleanse the land. And thou, Son of God, thus saith HalleluYah, speak unto every feathered fowl, and to every beast of the field, assemble yourselves and come, gather yourselves on every side to my sacrifice that I do. Sacrifice for you, even a great sacrifice upon the mountains of Yasharel, that ye may eat flesh and drink blood. Ye shall eat the flesh of the mighty, and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of rams, of lambs, and of goats, of bullocks, and all of them fatlings of Bashan. And ye shall eat fat till ye be full, and drink blood till ye be drunken of my sacrifice which I have sacrificed for you. Thus ye shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all men of war, saith HalleluYah. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathens shall see the judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Yasharel should know that I am Yahuwah, their Eluah, from that day and forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Yasharel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus saith HalleluYah, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Yasharel, and will be jealous for my Baruch name. After that they have borne their shame, and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. Then shall they know that I am Yahuwah their HalleluYah, which causeth them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Yasharel, saith Yahuwah HalleluYah. Chapter 40. In the 25th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after that the city was smitten, in the selfsame day, the hand of Yahuwah was upon me, and brought me thither. In the visions of HalleluYah brought he me into the land of Yasharel, and set me upon a very high mountain, by which as the frame of a city on the south, and he brought me thither. And behold, there was a man, whose appearance was like the appearance of brass, with a line of flax in his hands, and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I shall shew thee, for to the intent that I might shew them unto thee art thou brought hither. Declare all that thou seest to the house of Yasharel. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits long by the cubit, and in hand breadth. So he measured the breadth of the building, 1 reed, and the height 1 reed. Then came he unto the gate, which looketh toward the east, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad, and the other threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. And every little chamber was 1 reed long, and 1 reed broad, and between the little chambers were 5 cubits, and the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate within was 1 reed. He measured also the porch of the gate within 1 reed. Then measured he the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and the post thereof 2 cubits, and the porch of the gate was inward. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on this side, and 3 on that side. They 3 were of 1 measure, and the post had 1 measure on this side and on that side. And he measured the breadth of the entry of the gate 10 cubits, and the length of the gate 13 cubits. The space also before the little chambers was 1 cubit on this side, and the space was 1 cubit on that side. And the little chambers were 6 cubits on this side, and 6 cubits on that side. He measured then the gate from the roof, 1 little chamber to the roof of another. The breadth was 25 cubits, door against door. He made also posts of 60 cubits, even unto the posts of the court round about the gate. And from the face of the gate of the entrance unto the face of the porch of the inner gate were 50 cubits. And there were narrow windows to the little chambers, and to their posts within the gate round about, and likewise to the arches, and windows were round about inward, and upon each post were palm trees. Then brought he me into the outward court, and lo, there were chambers, and a pavement made for the court round about. 30 chambers were upon the pavement, and the pavement by the side of the gates over against the length of the gates was the lower pavement. Then he measured the breadth from the forefront of the lower gate unto the forefront of the inner court without, and 100 cubits eastward and northward. And the gate of the outward court that looked toward the north, he measured the length thereof, and the breadth thereof. And the little chambers thereof were 3 on this side, and 3 on that side. And the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, were after the measure of the first gate. The length thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 and 20 cubits. And their windows, and their arches, and their palm trees were after the measure of the gate that looketh toward the east, and they went up unto it by 7 steps, and the arches therefore were before them. And the gate of the inner court was over against the gate toward the north, and toward the east, and he measured from gate to gate 100 cubits. After that he brought me toward the south, and behold, a gate toward the south, and he measured the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures. And there were windows in it, and in the arches thereof round about it. Like those windows, the length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 and 20 cubits. And there was 7 steps to go up to it, and the arches therefore were before them. And it had palm trees, one on this side, and another on that side, upon the posts thereof. And there was a gate in the inner court toward the south, and he measured from gate to gate toward the south 100 cubits. And he brought me to the inner court by the south gate, and he measured the south gate according to these measures. And the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures. And there were windows in it, and in the arches thereof round about it was 50 cubits long, and 5 and 20 cubits broad. And the arches round about were 5 and 20 cubits long, and 5 cubits broad. And the arches therefore were toward the utter court, and the palm trees were upon the posts thereof, and the going up to it had 8 steps. And he brought me into the inner court toward the east, and he measured the gates according to these measures. And the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof were according to these measures. And there were windows therein, and the arches thereof round about. It was 50 cubits long, and 5 and 20 cubits broad. And the arches thereof were toward the outward court, and palm trees were upon the posts thereof, on the side and on that side, and the going up to it had 8 steps. And he brought me to the north gate, and measured it according to these measures. The little chambers thereof, the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, and the window to it round about. The length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 and 20 cubits. And the posts there were toward the utter court, and palm trees were upon the posts thereof, on this side and on that side, and the going up to it had 8 steps. And the chambers and the entries thereof were by the posts of the gates where they washed the burnt offering. And in the porch of the gates were 2 tables on this side, and 2 tables on that side, to slay thereon the burnt offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering. And at the side without, as one goeth up to the entry of the north gate, were 2 tables, and on the other side, which was at the porch of the gate, were 2 tables. 4 tables were on this side, and 4 tables on that side. By the side of the gate, 8 tables, whereupon they slew their sacrifices. And the 4 tables were of hewn stone for the burnt offering of 1.5 cubits long. And 1.5 cubits broad, and 1 cubit high, whereupon also they laid the instruments wherewith they slew the burnt offerings and the sacrifice. And within were hooks, and an hand broad, fastened round about, and upon the tables was the flesh of the offering. And without the inner gate were the chambers of the singers in the inner court, which was at the side of the north gate, and their prospect was toward the south, one at the side of the east gate, having the prospect toward the north. And he said unto me, this chamber whose prospect is toward the south is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the house. And the chamber whose prospect is toward the north is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the altar. These are the sons of Zadok, among the sons of Levi, which come near to Yahuwah the minister to minister unto him. So he measured the court as 100 cubits long and 100 cubits broad, 4 square, and the altar that was before the house. And he brought me to the porch of the house, and measured each post of the porch, 5 cubits on this side, and 5 cubits on that side. And the breadth of the gate was 3 cubits on this side, and 3 cubits on that side. The length of the porch was 20 cubits, and the breadth 11 cubits. And he brought me up by the steps whereby they went up to it, and there were pillars by the post, one on this side and another on that side. So you want me to stop, family? I'll stop. Okay, so we'll start chapter 41 tomorrow, and then when we're done, we'll do Isaiah. I'm tired too. And tomorrow, earlier in the day, I'm going to go over the book about fasting, the one that's over 90 years old. It's called The Science and Fine Art of Fasting by Herbert M. Shelton. We've learned a lot, family, a lot. If you can, watch the one from earlier tonight. If you know anybody with the C word, please, please, please. Yeah, he's snitching. But I hope we did cover a lot of chapters tonight. We did 25 to 40, so that was good. And I love you all, family. And like I said, tomorrow I'll be doing that book prayerfully earlier in the day. And then I'm going to be also doing this, and then Isaiah. But also, I also want to do another one probably in the middle of the day on Enoch. So I'm not sure if I want to do Enoch or Second Esdras. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow, family. But I love you all, family, and I hope everyone has a Baruch evening. And I love you all. Shalom.